We've used the percent proportion to find the part. Now we're going to use the same percent proportion to find the whole. So let's say we have a situation like this. 64% of the students have submitted their work. If 32 students have submitted their work, how many students are there? We're going to set up our page the same way as we've done for all of our proportions. You'll need your doodle workspace. You'll need your skeleton of a proportion. And then our labeling ratio is just as it was yesterday. It is part to whole. Once we have that, we next need to fill in our percent ratio. The percent that they give us in the problem is 64%. So we're going to write that as a fraction. 64% means 64 out of 100. Now here it says 64% have submitted their work. Well, since that's not 100%, we know that that is less than the total number of students. And 32 students is the number that has submitted the work. So 32 is 64% of some number. So that means that 32 is just a part of the students because it's only 64%. And then our X goes in our whole. So now we're going to work this out the same way that we have done all of our proportions. We have to set up our equations and solve them. So we'll cross multiply and divide. So we'll get 64x is equal to 32 times 100, or 100 times 32. Either way works. Then we take 64x and 32 times 100. Some of you may need to work it out in your doodle space. Some of you may already know that it's going to be 3,200. And then we have to divide both sides by 64. And I show that division by a fraction. And I'm working down my page each and every time. So then I need to work out that long division. 3,200 divided by 64. Let's see. 320 divided by 64 would be 5. 5 times 64 is 320. Subtract and I get 0. I have that 0 out there at the end. I have to bring it down. 0 divided by 64 is 0. Subtract and we're left with 0. So that means that X is equal to 50. That means that there's a total of 50 students. So it's the same thing that we've been working on. We're using the same process. We're just filling in different information in our proportion. So this assignment, you will be working on paper. You will be turning in your work. Make sure your work is in a straight line and that you have all of the pieces set up.